Hey guys, it's Sylvia Worsham. Welcome to Focus Fridays, and this will be the last Focus Friday video I will be doing on Fridays. I'm moving the schedule up to Mondays. Now it will be known as Mindful Mondays, and I'll be going live at about 3:30. No, actually, on Mondays I'll be going live at 2 o'clock because I can on Mondays. On Wednesdays is a different deal. I'm for the Hispanic community. I will be reviving Miércoles de Motivación, and of course that's happening on Wednesdays, and that's going to be at around 12 noon. Is when I'm going to go live on those videos for you, for the Hispanic community. So on this Focus Friday video, I wanted to ask the question, are you operating from ego or soul? And it's based on the post I had earlier this morning. And I wanted to share with you a story that kind of shows you operating from ego and then shifting over to operating from soul and the journey it took to get there. Because we all start off being born into a family and receiving the modeling from our parents and having outside influences. And this is what comprises our self-image for a long time. And our ego gets attached to that. So the story I'm going to share with you is the story of that is when I transitioned from being a successful corporate America woman to being a stay-at-home parent, that transition was extremely difficult for someone like me. And it was difficult because I was operating from ego a lot, from my ego identity. I was a person who, from the outside, looked like she had a perfect life, but inwardly, I did not fill my own cup. I wasn't operating from soul because I wasn't living out the purpose I was born to live out. And it took a major turning point. It took the turning point of nearly dying in 2012 for God to then shift my focus away from that identity and into the soul identity and start placing certain desires in my heart. And the important thing about when you get a desire from God is to start acting on it. When you don't act on the desire and when you don't act on quote unquote the gut instincts you're getting, remember God lives in our gut. I call them God instincts. You take a detour, a much longer detour to joy, because joy is there for the taking. It's just taking you longer to get there. And I was operating from ego a great deal of time. When I made the transition over to stay-at-home parent, I was totally lost. I went into an entire identity crisis. And this is chapter 13 in my book. I don't know who I am. I've gone through so many transitions in my life. I've moved to Austin. I started working for a medical device company. I'm stressed through like horrible, like through my pores. I lose a baby, I go through a miscarriage. So I lose a lot in a very short period of time. And I, at this point, don't know who I am. Total identity crisis. So these are the 3 lessons I learned. And these are the lessons I wanted to share with you on this last Focus Friday video so that you can get to joy faster than I did. Because we all go through pain, we all go through transition, we all go through change, and we all have the opportunity to either operate from soul or operate from ego. Every day you have that choice, whether you're going to react or reflect, or you're going to see what's in it for you, or how you can use your gifts to serve others, or you're going to be afraid to make a step forward in your life's journey, or you're going to trust the process. So these are the 3 lessons. So here they go. The first lesson is this. Trust his timing. I know that we want life to happen on our terms, on our timing. It's just not how it works, guys. God knows what's coming. God knows the decisions and the actions taken by everybody that is in your life, including yourself. And it's going to be on his timing. He's got to set that up. And sometimes when we want it to happen in our timing, we don't realize that what we're asking for is less abundant than what he has in store for us. So when we lean into that and lean into the discomfort and lean into the process, which is the second lesson I learned, was to trust and have faith in the process. And what do I mean by that? I mean, trust that everything is happening in your favor. There are lessons you're meant to learn in these quiet times of your life that when you learn them, they equip you for what's coming down the path. And that's why I say trust in his timing, because he knows what's coming down the path of your life. And when you trust him and when you have faith in the process as you're journeying through life, trust in him, no matter whether you know the outcome or not, take a step forward. When he puts a desire in your heart, like he did in chapter 13 of my book, where the desire was to become a coach with the John Maxwell team, I acted. I didn't even flinch. But the old me, the old identity that was tied to ego and my worth being tied to the amount of money I made, I needed to learn that the value you have is inside of you. It's not outside of you. It's not anything external that can give you that value. That you give that to yourself daily. You have value and wisdom you have gained through your experiences in life. Trust in the process. And the third and final lesson is to lean into it. You know how, I don't know if you've ever experienced this. I know I have, and the terrifying fear of like falling is one of them. I've gone snow skiing before, and I once hit a patch of ice and it terrified me inside. But I knew this. I knew that if I leaned into the fall, I wouldn't break my neck or bones. And that's exactly what I did. I leaned into the fall, because what happens when you resist the fall is going to be a lot harder and tougher on you than if you had just leaned into it, right? It's the same thing with life, guys. Lean into the discomfort. I was leaning into learning how to relax, because I didn't even know how to relax, guys. Because coming from an old identity of working 50 to 60-hour work weeks, I that concept was foreign to me. The concept of self-love was totally foreign to me. So what did I do in chapter 13? I got to know me again. I took myself on dates by myself, mind you. Like my husband wasn't invited, or my kids. I I had messengers that God sent my way. My friend Catherine, my good friend Alana, my good friend Valerie, and you know who they are. They know who they are. They were God's messengers. They showed me what having joy in my life looked like. They had already journeyed through it. They knew what was coming. And God sent them to me. One of the things I shared with a group on Wisdom Wednesdays, a company at Shiftco, Amy McFadden and I have a class, and it's something I shared with them on Wednesday. And I said, we're all interconnected. We all have the Spirit in us, Holy Spirit in us, and it's the compartment in our soul. And when we operate from the soul perspective, we look to others when we're looking for God and God's answers to what we've asked of Him. And I have often found my answers in speaking to these messengers He sends down my way. So, once again, lean into it. And one of the things I did want to share with you is, and this is something that Brene Brown talks a lot about because she's a shame researcher, is in order to get to the side of joy, you've got to go through the muck of life. I had to learn those lessons, as hard as they were for me to learn them, to learn that my value existed inside of me and not outside of me. Of all the things I had to go through to get there, they were so worth it because I learned that lesson. They were hard lessons to learn. It was the chapter I refused to want to write for months. I did not want to go into chapter 13 because I knew what I was going to find there. And there's going to be a lot of pain, a lot of old wounds. But you know what? The more you open up that wound, the more you talk about that wound, it seems to go away. It desensitizes and its power of you. And the more you operate from soul, meaning you still feel the feelings, you just don't get stuck in them. You don't operate from fear or uncertainty. You have faith and you trust in God and in the God instincts He's giving you and the messengers He's sending your way. And you lean into the muck, into the discomfort, and you keep going forward. So once again, the 3 lessons were Trust in his timing. Have faith in the process and realize that everything's happening in your favor and believe that. And in your heart, believe it. And the third and final thing is to lean into the discomfort. Lean in and learn what it is that you're meant to learn that's going to equip you for what's coming down your path. I'm Sylvia Worsham, your host of Focus Fridays, last Focus Fridays of the year. We are switching now to Mindful Mondays. Stay tuned. I will be on at 2 o'clock in the afternoon on Mondays. Have a wonderful week. Stay safe. Love y'all. Bye now.